much of this is science and how much of it is politics?
I'd say there's very little science here. I mean, I would want to explain why now. If anyone has been following the news portals yesterday, you'd realize that there's been the WHO, there has been information given out by other organizations like the European. There's no causal relationship between the blood clots that are happening using this as an issue. And the way to look at it is to look at the vaccines that are Zeneca.
Yeah.
All three are associated with events of lower platelets or the AFI portals. AstraZeneca has the lowest in terms of 0.00035% of people who had been vaccinated who had 0.5035%. And then for Pfizer, it was 0.0 without anyone talking about Pfizer doing anything. And you wonder why. Then, lo and behold, on Sunday, Monday, the US, where is the fast? Considering that about roughly 0.2% of people in the population have a blood clotting event. So if the incidence in the vaccinated population is lower, I'm making noise because there has been some tension between AstraZeneca and Council. Ursula von der Leyen was very scathing against AstraZeneca, saying that they had reneged on their promises, they were going post. Why are you trying to hold it back from others getting it? And that is the crux of the matter. And why don't you hold it back? But here's the European Union. In fact, they have triggered a vaccine war with the UK. But what the EU are now saying is that because UK has vaccinated about 40% of their population vaccine, so then we are tapping into vaccine nationalism, and that's where the politics comes in.
Right. Right. Now, officials of some of these nations that originally decided not to use AstraZeneca, France and Italy in particular, they have.
Oh yes, I mean the admissions have always been there because when Italy paused, didn't have any thrombolytic incidents because initially it was identified to a particular batch of the vaccine, and they said there shouldn't be a problem. Backtracked and said it may be the entire vaccines because they realized they couldn't blame it. Then yesterday, if the vaccine wasn't safe, why was von der Leyen threatening fire and brimstone? They were being cautious, but now they are waiting for today's announcement from the European Medicines Regulator and even pronouncement from the European Medicines Authority, which definitely would come this afternoon. But that doesn't mean it's political, full stop.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that, Kwame. Stay with us. There's so much more we want to hear from you. But I want to AstraZeneca being suspended in some country or the other, shared. And Ghanaians are concerned because that's what we have, everyone. And yeah, what exactly is the Ghana Health Service doing about these this misinformation that's
vaccinating the very first few people from the second after the His Excellency the hospital. Yeah, it's been smooth sailing. We remember we had to stagger the deployment based on frontline security people, and even the general public, some sessions of the general public, the media, and so on. So it was spots. So we started with 43 districts with the hope that gradually we'll scale up to the entire population. Having at the back of districts have had smooth sail of vaccine deployment. We have been in touch with them every day. We've been giving updates and all that. But again, this is understatement because we know some of the districts are still entering data. They have done the vaccine.
Right.
So we know we should be hovering around almost 500,000.
Okay.
Remember, we had an initial assessment. Almost all the 600,000 doses were distributed.
Okay, so about 500,000 so far out of the 600,000 number. For the thing I'm thinking in my head, I have to do a bit of maths. Correct. So allow me to go with the easier number.
That's okay.
So let's say we've done about 500,000 so far over a period of 16 days since we started on the second. That means we've done 20 million divided by 31,250 That means it will take us about 640.
Yes, that's it. I think the militating factor is getting the vaccines.
Yes.
You know, already there's politics everywhere, even getting hold on to the vaccines.
600,000. But 16 days later, we haven't finished.
October, we did 6 million children. Sorry, 6 million people 10 years to 60 years in 7 days for yellow fever. There's nothing different. The militating factor.
Really finished the
Correct.
600,000.
If we had 20 million doses, we would have delivered it in 2 weeks.
But why? Right.
So, for example, as I speak, there are still a few people, a few vaccine doses elsewhere, I mean, in some of the facilities, because and then when they get there, they get it. If we were doing a campaign, everybody, so we go house to house, we do all kinds of strategies. Strategic in staggering. That's the reason. Otherwise, we can deliver 600,000 in a day or two.
But to be fair, I mean, you will always have this problem, won't you? Because we have to target people.
In a week, we will deliver.
But you would have to target people. Wouldn't that still cause a delay?
In that case, you'd have to target, but remember, you down 300 a day. We have to resign to our fate and do about 50. We have that capacity to do that. And I've cited an example. No, we didn't have to target. We only had to identify 10 to 60-year-olds and go at once.
So I guess to my mind, it seems as if that is...
That's the point.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So it's not because perhaps we have the vaccine has not been tested with people under 16.
No, not at all.
Or
No, for
anything
those
like
that for those that are
pregnant women
exempted,
and all.
that's not a problem.
Okay.
But assuming we had, let's say, 10 million doses to give at once, would have done that in 10 days.
And health workers, frontline security personnel, you know these persons, don't you? And so if you know them, what is left is administering of the vaccines too, because then you'd have to be targeting persons who are aged between 18 years and above, those who are not pregnant.
An underlying condition. You need to target such a person. But if you had a vaccine, if you are giving, we have vaccines we are giving to persons 18 years and above. Those who are above 18, you are still looking for people with underlying conditions. You are looking for who is a health worker. You have to be a bit different. We had to get data from the security agencies. If we had enough vaccines, we probably wouldn't go like that. We just identify all our stakeholders and the board. And so you will not waste your time identifying who is 60 years, who is, as it were, who is a security person or who is...
So far, how difficult has it been, targeting? Have you been able to find all the diabetics, for example?
That is it.
Do you have the information
Yes,
somewhere?
known underlying conditions.
Are we sure of that?
Yes, they will
That
definitely
most
go.
diabetics
I'm
go
saying
to
that
a clinic?
the geographical segmentation, we knew we were going to intervene in, say, Kumasi, great facilities, the small facilities, and so on and so forth. So we requested, for example, the regional health directorate to give us, will take some time. Konfanochi brought its numbers, Kolebu also brought its numbers. So all the big, for example, with cancers and so on, for them, they are seen in the bigger hospitals.
Right.
And they brought all that list. We sat together and we agreed and we supplied.
I have diabetes, but I don't go to a clinic. I have a doctor, but I'm not on anybody's clinic list.
Your doctor doesn't have a clinic?
No, my doctor
Okay.
doesn't. Yeah. So my mother, for example, she's on her medication. She takes her medication. She checks her blood sugar. If there is a problem, she'll go to her doctor.
Cases, because you can afford that kind of a personal, a family doctor, probably you can do that. But again, you are based within a particular district, and therefore for that particular district, if it is part of the segmented to have approved, your doctor approves that. That's all.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. How about?
But I hope you have been vaccinated.
Yes, I have.
Yes. How did you get vaccinated? It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. How about those who are above 60? Is it easy to identify them across the country?
For now it has been, normally we ask for at least some kind of ID. It doesn't matter whether it is biometric or whatever, at least there's assembly members and all that. So that's a strategy we use, for example, in the rural areas. And they know each other.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Far. And yes, Kwame has made it clear that a lot of this is just politics, really. There's no science behind it. How is the Ghana Health Service managing these concerns?
Yes, that is quite right. When we got the information, we also followed up. And I remember No science behind it. You see, whatever be the case, there are some events that will occur, whether there's an intervention or not, as it were community-based intervention. So, for example, clots will occur. Vaccination or no vaccination, they will occur. What the same people who are saying that the vaccine causes or led to whatever clotting they were talking about, were also, you be cautious, but not overly cautious in this case. Because if you withhold vaccines, getting back on track is extremely difficult. Then obviously you are making your case even more difficult. And I know Europe will suffer that. And for the past 1 week, I've been inundated with calls and people asking you what is happening and all that. Come back home. We have also followed up all those. For us, we have been very confident from this onset when they started talking about clot. We haven't seen it, and it's the similar method and so on. And the conditions that will let you withhold vaccines are quite, and so it's not surprising Kwame is quoting conditions of, let's say, clotting vaccinated. You are likely to be protected from COVID, which itself causes clots.
Causes clots, right. Important point. Yeah. Possible. And is this interesting? In some cases, it's a text. In some cases, it's a video, where people are asking certain questions, like, "Oh, once I get the vaccine, can I stop wearing a mask to spread the virus?" Questions which the answers, are no. Yeah. And when people hear that, it makes
get to a certain point where a critical mass of people are vaccinated. Your foremost aim is to break transmission, stop the outbreak. Once you stop that, you have no issue wearing masks. And so you as a person, when you have been vaccinated, you still have to wear masks because the vaccines will not completely 100% prevent you from getting an infection. An infection is not the same as so many organisms that are in our bodies that are not causing anything. Nobody gets worried. It is when you manifest the disease or that the expenditure, the government is spending, everybody, including your family, they are all spending. If they don't even go to work, getting an infection is not a problem. So if I'm vaccinated, I get an infection and I don't have a disease, what is the problem? I don't have the population immunity for which we are able to break transmission. That's why it's important that even when we have been vaccinated.
In terms of messaging, do you find that this makes it a bit difficult for people to see an end? Because we start seeing the benefit.
Yes, I put myself in the shoes of the public. Yes, so I understand. But that is why we keep on encouraging that when a critical mass of threshold for herd immunity. But if we get about 65% of our population vaccinated up to about 70, I believe strongly.
So Kwame, let me ask you this. There's a lot of talk about how the future will look once it will look. How, we've heard talk of a vaccination passport and so forth. How is Europe approaching this? What are they starting to put in place already? Freedom than those who are not.
Thank you. I would come to that, but I just want to add something on to what's lowered platelets.
Okay.
And with potential to clot. So they are even much, much higher than the general population. You see, and that is why I struggle and I say that the data is there. And so it's even surprising that people are going down this route because at that time, the evidence wasn't there that it was multiple organ disease and it caused. I'm now talking as a biomedical scientist. Even if I was presented with a set of data, that relationship be enough for me to come to a conclusion, like Dr. Chanu said, and say, halt vaccinations, when I know that picking up against what the European politicians are doing. And this brings us to this whole issue of vaccine passport certificate, which is what the Europeans are using. And the data that will be collected and all your name, your data, similar to what's on your passport, plus the vaccine you took, EPI guys are collecting because it's important in case there are adverse drug reactions to trace. So all that this batch number was supplied to the UK, or even if it was supplied to Ghana, you'll be able to know that it was supplied hospital or facility that person was vaccinated in can then also be identified that you've had both vaccines or you've had COVID and recovered in the last 3 months because they know you're coming to Ghana and test again. Yeah. But if you have the two, either you got vaccinated or you've had COVID in the last 3 months, the documents are out already. They were put out yesterday at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
Advantage in taking the vaccine. because the world was never going to open back to normal and not get overrun like it's happening in Italy at the moment. All these things in the background, it's naive if you don't get vaccinated because you are holding everyone back. And you are putting others at risk. Even those who've been vaccinated might only have a temporary reprieve because non-sensitive to the vaccines that have been used. So anyone who doesn't want to ask a very important question, do they understand the gravity of the decision they are taking? It's no longer about you.
Ask about the Ghanaian situation. Of course, because of all those questions that are in that, is not. What are some of the things that I might be allowed to do in Ghana, that someone who's not vaccinated can safe for vaccinated people compared to those who are not?
So thank you. The first thing. Now you are asking whether there are sanctions. Currently, no. Of course, because of trust issues. This is not the first time. We've done several. What I know is happening in some other countries, which I know for now they are 10. What is happening in other countries, for example, UAE, is if you don't get vaccinated, if we have the cause to do that, which I don't foresee because of even now the pressure invoked or something. But for now, there's no sanctions.
Now, I want to Yamachi Biotech is focused on cancer research in Ghana, but they've been tweeting two new variants. One is the B1 variant, which was originally identified in Morocco and Algeria. There is also the B1.525 variant, which originates from Nigeria. How's the Ghana Health Service handling this information, and what does this mean in light of our vaccines?
Oh, I know the service has been working with WACBIF. Is it WACBIF? Genome, or monitor the variants by doing will still be potent or not.
Right.
So far, the only one we know that does not, I wouldn't even say that it's not potent. The fact that there were variants maybe peculiar to South Africa, or even worried that South Africa. Actually, what you want to put across is how fast are we able to do our vaccination?
Speed up.
Exactly.
Okay, but you can only speed up when you have vaccines.
Exactly.
When are we
getting and it's more of now a global that are going on to the same 7 or so markets, and there's a lot of pressure. And so it depends on how well you will give us some vaccines.
So where are we in the queue? When are we getting?
We were the first actually to get a consignment from within cover. We'll get additional 2 million doses. Okay. But again, the ministry is also working out to get some
hands on those.
Yes, I initially said that we normally do campaigns in a very short time. Vaccines, we have given ourselves 7 to 8 months. We normally don't do that. That's why in our plan and so on. So we have, within that period, we should be able to.
So do we know when we are getting some more Sputnik V?
Yes, for the others, so that, from the onset, we haven't boxed ourselves to a particular vaccine. It's a strategy. As I said, from now through April ending, we'll get additional AstraZeneca. And then also, but we are waiting for Sputnik comes in a very funny consignment. There's the dose 1 and some dose 1 and dose 1 and some dose 2.
Right.
So they are not matching yet, and so you won't be in a hurry to deploy. Now, as far as we are concerned, the vaccines are comparable. When people compare the efficacy, for us, once a vaccine crosses a certain efficacy level for which is acceptable, they are good to go. And so we don't really mind who gets what.
So it's being done in Europe, Kwame. Are we seeing a certain sort of lack of discrimination, if you will, or are people still...
Chinese, right? I mean, that's what's happening everywhere, where you go and whatever vaccine is available is what you get. They started before approvals of the vaccine. The emergency use authorizations were given. And so negative press that the Europeans have given to AstraZeneca. So people are turning up and saying that even if it's a Senna or Pfizer rather than AstraZeneca. Now, here's the thing. You see, everyone forgets that politics is a long game, has been managed. People have done well in different states and shapes. But one thing that AstraZeneca between $1.5 and $3, depending on where you're getting it from. So you can vaccinate between that should this end, like Dr. Chanu is saying, and UK gets to the herd immunity threshold at lower cost. the AstraZeneca vaccine. It is the long game as to what would come at the postmortem. And so for some of us who work in this area, because of that, the likes of Dr. Chanu would have a lot of pressure negotiating for vaccines, because the vaccine supply chain now has, with the Europeans now saying that they are going to block vaccine export, everyone would then be going to the Serum Institute of India and the Thais who are now starting production. A lot of unforeseen problems. And that is why some of us, as far back as February, were saying that this supply chain was going to be interesting, and it would confident is going to happen today with the press conference at 1 o'clock. After that, there's going to be serious issues in the supply chain.
Well, that's Sabcha is going to look for our vaccination program here in Ghana. Kwame Sarpong-Asiedu is with us from the UK, and of course here in the studio, Dr. Ampon.
What would you do if you have the chance to do anything in life? Build your dream house, take very good care of your family, and plan for a comfortable retirement. Plan a befitting funeral for your loved.
You have such a friend in Glyco Life Insurance. Glyco Life has all the plans to meet your life's needs. Your child's education, your life savings, your mortgage. Us today with Glyco Life Insurance plans. And remember that all our policies are hedged against inflation. www.glycolife.com or any of our branches nationwide for more information.
Glyco Life, we cushion you for life.
Glyco, we cushion you for life.
Accredited decoders as multi-TV digger boxes. The only accredited multi-TV digger box is Quality Advanced S2 decoder from Syndicated Capital, which is on sales at only 150 Ghana cedis for the full set of satellite dish, LMB, and decoder of unaccredited boxes. Dealers are also cautioned that multi-TV will take action against installers or dealers who pass off unaccredited decoders as multi-TV. Call 030-2242-532 or 050-1255-158 for the Quality Advanced S2 Digibox.
Ediana Sisa. As Lamte here say Go TV Max drop in price from 70 Ghana cedis and kids shows and then Yama Bebre Abrelamte Busiamo Munia Giabroso. Be like the Lamte family. Upgrade the Go TV Max Sisia. Cheer 60 Ghana cedis. Now enjoy here in your area for maximum entertainment. Offer valid from 14th January to 31st March 2021. T&Cs apply. Go!
Sorry to interrupt your conversation, but I notice you are not wearing face masks.
Charlie, check my police barrier.
Oh, no, you know, try. COVID-19 is real. It still exists. I'm a COVID-19 survivor myself, so I know. While you're him, and you must also do it to protect him. Wear a mask. Makes a difference and it can save your life. I always carry spares around if you don't mind. Yeah, yes. Wear the mask.
Multimedia Group.
It can be very dangerous on these streets for a pedestrian. So here's how the national crossing on a footbridge or at a traffic signal. If you're crossing anywhere else, please crossing the road. One moment of distraction could end your life. Let's look out for ourselves, protect each other, and arrive alive. Thank you.
Everyone needs you alive.
You're welcome back to the Super Morning Show, and we're learning all there is to learn about the vaccine, how it affects you, and why you should get it, really. I think that is now put beyond question. That together with our guest today, Dr. Ampon Sanchianu from the Ghana Health Service. He runs the vaccination program, the National Vaccination Program, and of so much volumes of education since this COVID-19 pandemic began. All right, let me ask you this. Are you watching TV on a flat screen? Did you know that yourself the new HD Plus decoder today from the nearest authorized dealer or any Electroland showroom? Or call 0242 439 872 for more details. Now, when you hear Israel, or April on Joy FM, join Inshira Ado as he takes you on a journey to Israel Radio from Friday the 2nd of April from 2:30 p.m. during Ignition on Joy FM and catch the exciting revelations about the state of Israel in Ghana. Don't miss this exciting expedition into the state of Israel. Israel Radio on Joy 99.7 FM. Explore. So enjoy all Ghanaian music and, of course, an amazing lineup of promotions and fun activities. Ghana Month on Judeen And they say be part of their rich Ghanaian culture this March. Buy 12 yards of your authentic Woodin print from any Woodin retail shop across the country and get 2 yards for free. To Adom FM, Asempa FM, Hits FM, all of our stations, Love FM, Inshira FM. You can watch free-to-air channels like Join. Right, so the My Joy Online app is not just an app, it's an experience. Download it now from the App Store. Please download it now. Thanks for all your text messages. They were brought to you on the Super Morning Show by Glycocritical Illness Plan GSIP. It's in your best interest to including your phone or laptop. And please use hand sanitizer when you can't wash your hands properly. Wash fresh groceries. Clean and disinfect surfaces like countertops, door handles, furniture. Stay safe and protect each other. All right, we're going to wrap up now with our two guests, Kwame Sarpong-Asiedu and Dr. Amponsah. That one thing that from all the commentary you've been listening to, you wish you could
All I would say is without 60 to 70% of our population being vaccinated, and not with totally vaccinated, that is, if country to be marked as a country where we've not hit herd immunity, and there's the risk of variants because travel.
Thank you, Kwame. Dr. Amponsah.
Yeah, could you thank so much. I think Kwame has said it all. If you have any one thing that will be a lifeline to people, I remember about 2 weeks before we started the campaign, it had reduced so much to about 20 to 30%. And so we trust the goodwill. 1,000 reports and over have been received, and it's still the same headaches and, feverishness. No vaccine is 100% safe and efficacious. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah.
And so definitely a couple of...
for your time with us. God bless you both. God bless you all for listening. We're back tomorrow. It's 10 o'clock though, which means time for headlines with Hannah Odami.
And coming up, public sector unions have kicked the street. Dr. Samuel Ninoy Ashong said